Welcome back. We're diving into two really fascinating childhood experiences today. Worlds apart in setting, but, remarkably similar in the kinds of unexpected lessons they deliver.
Yeah, it's quite a contrast.
Right. Imagine the wide open spaces of rural Texas, prone to hurricanes, meeting the bustling, rapidly changing city of Guangzhou in China.
And in both places, you have these young protagonists encountering some pretty unconventional companions.
Exactly. And learning these profound truths about the world around them.
That's right. So, our mission today for this deep dive is really to unpack these two vivid personal accounts. They come from a document called TexasGuangzhou.pdf,
Okay.
and we're going to try and pull out the most important nuggets of, well, knowledge and insight. We'll explore those universal themes growing up, what companionship really means, and the surprising ways our early experiences shape how we see reality.
Okay, let's unpack this first one then, the Texas tale. So picture this, rural Texas. A landscape where donkeys aren't just, livestock. They're actually kind of essential.
Right? They keep stray dogs away. Apparently, they eat anything.
Huh, yeah. And they can become these really endearing companions. You can even ride them. Seems less dramatic than a Shetland pony, maybe?
Well, maybe sometimes. It's definitely a unique backdrop for our main character here, Ramon. He's 13, sort of on the cusp of being a man,
Mm-hmm.
and he is aptly consumed by one single desire.
Mm.
He wants a bike. He has a donkey, sure, but, for a teenager, two wheels means freedom.
Absolutely. And then nature steps in. A pretty big hurricane hits, floods the whole county, leaves just chaos behind, debris everywhere.
Yeah, just a mess. And amidst all this wreckage, Ramon spots
It's
it.
a bike.
Yeah, this BMX-looking thing, as the source puts it,
Yeah.
tangled up under a wire fence, surrounded by, well, everything. Mailboxes, tanning beds.
You name it. It's like treasure washed ashore, and his teenage brain just immediately kicks into gear.
Right. The source kind of hints he probably could have just asked around, maybe found the owner later.
But no.
No, he decides on a midnight retrieval mission around 10:30 at night with his donkey.
Okay, bringing the donkey. What was the plan there?
Well, the initial plan, maybe a bit optimistic, was to ride the bike home, leading the donkey alongside him.
Ah, and you can almost feel the impending disaster right there.
Totally. So he manages to get the bike free, but then the donkey, Chago,
Yeah.
proves less than cooperative.
Chago, is that the donkey's name?
Well, the narrator says they're about 40% sure it was Chago. Could have been Pedro, Ferdinand,
Yeah.
even Persephone. Apparently, there was another donkey named Jezebel, too, so it's a little hazy.
Uh-huh. Okay, let's stick with Chago for now. So Chago wasn't cooperating.
Not at all. Gets really skittish about being led while Ramon's trying to balance on this new bike
Nah.
and jerks Ramon right off the bike, lands him unceremoniously in a patch of sticker burrs and pear cactus.
Ouch. That's a rough start.
Oh, that's just the beginning. This whole thing becomes a masterclass in youthful miscalculation.
Okay, what's next?
The bike's chain. It's rusty, obviously, and it immediately jumps off the sprocket and just kinks up solid. Useless.
Disaster. So now he can't even ride it.
Exactly. So plan C, I guess. He tries to ghost ride it. Where you let the bike roll alongside you while you ride something else.
Right, while he rides Chago.
Precisely. That lasts about 90 seconds.
Oh, dear.
He leans too far, the bike's front wheel hits a hole or something, and boom, he goes down, ends up under the donkey.
Under the donkey.
Under the donkey, and takes a hoof directly to the nose. The source is quite vivid about the sheer amount of blood involved.
Oh, man, this poor kid. So bike's broken, he's bleeding. What now?
Well, after dragging both the bike and the donkey for a bit, pure desperation kicks in and leads to this truly inventive, if probably very uncomfortable solution.
Which is?
He gets back on Chago,
Yeah.
but he ties the bike across his shoulders with a rope.
Across his shoulders
Well,
while riding a donkey.
Yeah, which forces him to kind of lay across the donkey's neck to balance it all.
Wow. That is
Yeah.
dedication or stubbornness.
Absolutely. Born of just absolute desire for that bike. And what's fascinating is the narrator's role here. The person telling the story is out on their own buck, sees this whole thing unfold.
They see Ramon.
Well, first they hear him. They hear hooves, quiet sobbing and vicious cursing. So they hide in a ditch.
It's our move.
Yeah. And then they witness this sight. Ramon and Chago emerging from the darkness, looking like they've been taken prisoner by a huffy pro-thunder.
Huh. That's quite an image. Do they talk?
Briefly, Ramon, despite the blood and tears, kind of shows off his new bike. Then they go their separate ways.
Yeah, I'm the narrator.
Admits to feeling jealous as hell of Ramon's bike, despite the obvious ordeal he went through to get it. It's such a pure, Childhood emotion, isn't it? That envy.
It really is. But surely that's not the end of the story.
Oh, no. There's one final twist. The next day, Ramon shows up, bike chain fixed, maybe cleaned up a bit, looking proud.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I was right. The original owner spots the bike at the store. Turns out their name was scratched right into the number plate. Yep. Bike reclaimed. And the Force mentions Ramon received a minor beating in the process.
Oof. So all that effort, all that pain for nothing.
Well, not nothing. A very visceral, unforgettable lesson in property, consequences, and maybe the limits of donkey-assisted thievery.
Yeah, a harsh lesson learned, definitely. Okay, let's pivot completely now. Shift gears and head over to Guangzhou, China.
Right. A very different setting. This story takes place shortly after the start of the reform and opening up era, a time of just immense, rapid societal change in China.
And the narrator here grew up right in the middle of this.
Yes, living with parents and their grandmother in an apartment, but it was kind of on the edge of the city. And the grandmother, who had recently moved from the countryside, well, she held on to some of her rural habits,
Okay, like what?
like keeping a chicken coop in the hallway with a balcony.
In an apartment building, chickens and ducks.
Chickens and ducks, right there. Raised them herself.
Wow. That sounds pretty unconventional for city life, especially now.
It really does. And for the narrator, who was an only child, these animals became really important companions. The chickens, the ducks, there were turtles too, and cats.
So, like a little ecosystem in the hallway.
Sort of, yeah. The chickens and ducks especially became these close companions. They grew up right alongside the narrator. They'd apparently just hang out in the hallway while the narrator was doing homework.
That's actually quite sweet. They weren't just farm animals, then they were pets, really. Playmates.
Exactly. A really deep bond formed. Which makes you think, doesn't it? About how our environment, our culture, shapes how we even see animal companionship.
Definitely. But you mentioned that grandmother held on to her rural habits.
A plural.
Ah, yes. There was another habit, a much more impactful one from the child's perspective.
Okay.
When those chickens and ducks got big enough, the ones that had been companions,
Yeah.
she would slaughter them for food, turning that close companion into a dish on the dinner table.
Oh, wow. That must have been a huge shock, as the source puts it, for the young boy. Imagine that realization. The creature you played with yesterday is, well, dinner tonight.
That's incredibly intense, a really stark lesson about life cycles, I suppose, and sustenance.
Absolutely. And about the very different ways human-animal relationships can be viewed. Affection and utility side by side. It's profound.
Yeah. The source also mentions some other things, right? Like neighborhood boundaries.
Just briefly, yeah, touches on how, as kids, they only really played with classmates in their immediate neighborhood. And the sense of adventure in finding the vast expanse of farmland just beyond their urban edge, knowing exactly where those boundaries were.
Interesting. So, okay, we have these two incredibly vivid, very different stories, Texas and Guangzhou. What happens when we bring them together? What are the big takeaways?
Well, let's start with companionship. Both stories kind of stretch that definition, don't they?
Yeah, they really do.
In Texas, you've got Ramon's donkey, Chago,
Mm.
a loyal, maybe, but definitely troublesome accomplice, a partner through sheer necessity, even when he's fighting it.
Right. Not exactly a willing sidekick.
Not always. And then in Guangzhou, you have these cherished pets, the chickens and ducks, deeply part of the narrator's daily life until, their ultimate purpose is revealed in a pretty stark way.
So it challenges our standard ideas of what a companion is. Sometimes it's about necessity or shared struggle, like with Ramon and Chago. Sometimes it's affection complicated by, well, reality.
Exactly. It makes you wonder about the hidden dynamics in our own relationships, perhaps. And then there are the lessons learned, those aha moments, or maybe oof moments.
Definitely oof for Ramon. His whole ordeal is just this raw lesson in consequences, isn't it? Property rights learned the hard way. Physical pain as a teacher.
Yeah, some things you just can't learn from a book. It's experience, pure and simple. Humbling, painful experience.
And for the Guangzhou narrator,
It's more of a profound, maybe existential awakening about life, death, where food comes from, about cultural differences and how we relate to animals. It's affection versus utility, all wrapped up in one shocking realization.
hmm and the environment itself seems so key in both.
Oh, absolutely. Rural Texas, wide open, a bit wild, subject to nature's whims like hurricanes. It breeds this kind of ruggedness, maybe. direct physical challenges.
Mm.
Ramon's story is literally about dragging yourself and your problems home through the mud.
Right. Whereas Guangzhou, that rapid urbanization, apartment living, clashing with these lingering rural traditions.
Yeah, it highlights that tension. Old ways, new ways, the stark reality of the food chain, even when you live in a city. It's about navigating the boundaries, physical, like the edge of the farmland, but also conceptual, like the boundary between pet and food, adapting to a changing world.
It's fascinating how different the settings are, yet the core themes resonate. Resilience, for one.
Definitely. You see it in Ramon, dragging that bike, bleeding, just driven by this teenage fixation.
And in the Guangzhou narrator, processing that emotional shock, having his view of his companions completely upended.
Adaptation, too. Ramon constantly adapting his plan, leading the donkey, ghost riding, carrying the bike, and the Guangzhou kid adapting to this complex reality of his put's dual nature.
Fundamentally, they're both about growing up, right?
Yeah.
Understanding the world isn't always simple or easy. Encountering those unforeseen realities, the boundaries.
Exactly. Both Ramon and the boy in Guangzhou learned about the edges of their worlds, physical, emotional, ethical, in these incredibly personal, unforgettable ways.
So we've journeyed from a muddy field in Texas with a stubborn donkey to a bustling apartment hallway in Guangzhou with doomed chickens. Two really unique stories.
But they connect, don't they? They offer this kind of shortcut to understanding just how diverse human experience is and how important, how foundational those early, sometimes uncomfortable experiences really are.
Absolutely, they stick with you.
They really do. And maybe as you go about your day, it's worth considering this. How might those seemingly small personal adventures from your own early life, maybe the unexpected interactions, especially the ones that involve some discomfort or surprise or even a bit of pain, how might those moments have fundamentally shaped how you see things now?
Hmm.
Things like value, what companionship means, the boundaries of your own world, often in ways you only really start to appreciate much, much later on.
That's a great thought to end on. Something definitely worth mulling over.